Super excited to introduce you to Aaron Hernandez, who's going to kick things off with our kind of accounting part of our software. So again, welcome.
All right, thank you for the introduction there, Dan. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron, as Dan mentioned. So today we're going to be taking a look at the entire pretty much starting tier of the Aplos system. So that's going to consist of both the fund accounting piece as well as the donor management communication tools. So what I'm going to go over with you guys right now is going to be the fund accounting portion of the system. As well as a couple of other features such as the home page and the settings area. So just to start at the very top of the menu here, this is going to take us to the home page, which we call the dashboard area. So this dashboard area of the system, this is going to show you metrics and graphs and alerts that represent the activity happening within your Aplos account. So as you can see, your name is going to be at the very top of the screen, and then underneath that is where you'll see those metrics and graphs. Up the top, towards the top here, you have those metrics for total cash balance, net income for the year, net income for the month, etc. You also have a cash balance graph and some expense breakout graphs and some donation graphs. If you guys want to tailor those to however you want them to be, so like if you want to move the metrics or graphs around, all you have to do is click on the arrow on the far right-hand side here. That's going to take you to a settings section where you can use the navigation arrows to pick and choose which metrics and graphs you want to be shown where. Once you have everything to your liking, just click Save. That takes you right back to the main screen here. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see different columns for alerts. So if you have anything like an open bank reconciliation or contributions not listed on the accounting side, then you'll see alerts for those on the right-hand side. If you use the accounts payable and accounts receivable features that we offer, which I'll talk about later on here, then you'll see alerts for those items as well on this right-hand side. And then also at the very top of the page, you'll see this. There, get back here. You'll see this dot right next to this little person icon. If you click on the dot, that dot's going to show you latest changes that have happened in the software since you last logged in. So if we added a new feature in the system, if we updated an existing feature, or if we fixed a bug in the software of any kind, this is the area where we'll let you know what those changes were. So this way you will always be kept in the know. All right. And so that's going to pretty much sum it up for the dashboard area. Going down the page here on the menu, we're going to go to the settings section next. Just to jump to the first page here is the org info page. And so this is where you're going to be entering in the basic information for your organization. So what that entails is that you're going to be entering in your organization's name, tax ID number, your fiscal year, address, phone number, etc. If you have a logo, you can upload that image as well. You can also manage your communication settings from this page. So if this is pretty much telling us who the primary contacts are for your organization. So in case we need to get in touch with you for whatever reason, whether it be the credit card you have on file is about to expire, or if we want to just send you a monthly newsletter to keep you updated on things, this is the area where you let us know who we should be contacting in those situations. All right, next page here is the users page, and so this is where you're going to manage your Aplos users for the account. If you need to add a new user, just go ahead and click the Add User button at the top of the screen. That's going to take you to this next section where you can put in the details for that new user. So their first and last name, the email address they're going to be using to log in with. You can also select a role or multiple roles for that user, depending on what kind of permissions they need. So we have a variety of roles for you to select from, starting with administrator, who has full access to the entire software, going all the way down to some read-only access roles that we have available. Once those applicable roles are selected, just go ahead and enter in a temporary password for that user, and then click Save once you're done. And then if you ever need to change any details for a particular user, all you have to do is click on their name, and then that'll take you to the next screen so you can edit those details. All right, next up here is the subscription page. This is where you're going to manage your Aplos subscription. So if you need to upgrade or downgrade your subscription, if you need to enter in a promotion code or update your billing information, whatever the case may be, as long as it has to do with a subscription, you'll want to jump to this subscription page to take care of that. All right, next up here we have the activity log, and this is a pretty cool feature that we offer as well. So this activity log, it keeps track of all the different actions that have been performed in the software. So if you come here, you can look on any day at any given time what user or users were logged in and what kind of things did they do while they were in the system. So did they delete a contact from the contact database? Did they add a new transaction in the register? Did they update a donation that was currently in the system? Whatever the case is, you'll see a record of that action listed here in the activity log. All right. Next up is a file box area. This is your basic storage space within the software. So if you have any images or documents that you just want to keep in a safe spot, you can go ahead and upload those documents here in the file box area. And so we start you off at 1 gigabyte of storage space, so plenty of room for you to upload whatever you need to. But if you do ever need more storage space, you can continue adding it on. And then it does charge an extra $10 for each gig that you go past that first one. All right, and the last page we have here in the settings section is the partners page. So we are partnered with a lot of great companies out there, such as Bloomerang, Church Community Builder, Continue to Give, Donor Elf, and Gusto Payroll. So if you already have an account with one of these companies or looking into starting one, you're more than welcome to connect those systems with your Aplos account so that you can work between both programs a lot smoother. All right. So now that we took care of that fun stuff, let's go ahead and jump into the accounting section now. And so under accounting, I'm going to come under this accounts tab first and go to the account list page. The reason I'm taking you here first is because this takes us to the chart of accounts page, and the chart of accounts in Aplos is essentially the backbone of the entire accounting piece. This is where you're going to tell us the different items that you need to keep track of for your organization. So the assets that you own, the liabilities you have, any equities and funds that you want to set up, your income accounts, and your expenses. So all that information will be recorded here initially on the chart of accounts page. So in order to add a new account, let me just go ahead and show you what that would look like. So if I come under this income category, and let's say I want to add a new account group as well as a new income account. So under income, I'm going to go ahead and add a new group first. So I'll come to this button at the bottom that says add group, click on that. And now it's going to let me add a title for that one. So let's call this new group other income. I'll click save. All right, and so now under this income category, there is my new group for other income. Now when I'm ready to add a new account, all I want to do is click on this plus mark icon next to the appropriate group name. And that's going to drop down a menu where I can enter in the details for that new account. So in this case, let's go ahead and call this one 4050. And I'm going to give it the name of miscellaneous income. Now in Aplos, you are required to enter both an account name as well as an account number. So if you already have a numbering system in place with your organization that you're comfortable with, you're more than welcome to use that numbering system here. However, if you don't, then we recommend going off of the generally accepted accounting principles or the GAAP. So what that would mean is that your asset accounts would be in the 1000 series, your liabilities in the 2000s, your equities and funds in the 3000s, income in the 4000s, and then expenses in the 5000s and above. But again, those are just recommended values. If you want to use a different numbering system, you're more than welcome to do so. For this account here that I'm setting up, I have my number, I have my name, and so I now have some optional fields that I can put information in for if I want to. This first field here for fund, this allows you to assign a particular income or expense account to a particular fund that you've set up. So in this case, let's just go ahead and say this is part of my missions fund. All right, so now what will happen is anytime I use this account when I'm recording a transaction, this fund will automatically fill in for me in the entry screen. So it kind of just saves you saves you an extra step when you're entering your transactions. Now underneath that is a sub-account field. So if you need to make this account a sub-account for whatever reason, then you just check the box for sub-account, and in the blank field you'll enter in what the parent account should be for that sub-account. All right, and once your information's all filled in, go ahead and click Save. And so now, under this income category, under my other income group, there is my 4050 miscellaneous income account that I created, and then here is the fund that it's associated with. So pretty easy process. Once you get your accounts all set up, then the next place you'll probably want to come down to that we'll check out is the tag section. And so custom tags, this is another feature we offer that allows you to further categorize your transactions in the system. So you can see some more details on your reports. For example, if you have a fund set up that's called maybe projects, and that's meant to keep track of all the different projects that you do throughout the year, which happen to be a spring project, a summer project, or a winter project. So what you can do in Aplos is create a custom tag for each of those individual projects so that not only can you keep track of everything all together by that project fund, but you can break it down a little bit more so that you can keep track of things individually, and you can run tag-based reports to see individually how all those different projects are doing for your organization. All right, next up here is the starting balances page. And so when you're ready to enter in your beginning balances, you would come to this screen here, and then going down the page, you'll see all of your asset and liability accounts. Going across the top, you'll see columns for the different funds that you've set up. And so, for example, if my checking account here has a beginning balance of $23,500, but it needs to be split out between multiple funds, then I can just come into the applicable field for the fund and then enter in that amount. So I have an amount here and here, all totaling out to that 23,000 number at the far right-hand side. If your entire balance just needs to be plopped within one particular fund, then you can simply just put in that full value within the most applicable area. All right, next up we have a budgeting module that we do offer for you guys. So if you want to create a budget for your organization, all you have to do is come to this budgeting page, start by clicking Add Budget, and then enter in the fiscal year that you're working within. So let's say that we are in fiscal year 2018. We'll click Add. And so that's going to take us to this next page for Manage Your Budget. And so this page here is going to show you a list of all of your income and expense accounts that you created in the Chart of Accounts area. And then in the blank field for the 2018 budget, this is where you would enter in that annual budget value for the different line items. If you guys do things maybe on a monthly basis, or you only have certain months out of the year that you budget for, then you can also do this option for Show Monthly Breakdown. And that'll show you the months within your year so that you can just click into the applicable months and put in those values that you need to. All right, and the last thing on this accounts tab here is the 1099 section. So we are able to generate 1099s for you in the software if you like. So if you need those 1099s for your vendors, all you have to do is come to this page here and you'll map out some 1099 tags so we can keep track of which expenses need to be tracked for the 1099s. And then you'll also need to tell us who your 1099 vendors are. And so in order to do that, what you would want to do is come up to this Contacts tab. And then if you go to this List section here, which I will cover a little bit more here in a second, but if you come to this list section here, we create a grouping here for you that's called 1099 vendor. And if you go in there, this is where you can designate who in your contact list should be a 1099 vendor. So we know which people to keep track of. All right, and then once you have everything mapped out, then when the time is ready for you to generate those 1099s, you can simply go to the reports area and generate the 1099 for all of your vendors that need them. All right, and so now that we're in the contact section, I'm going to jump back up to the top page here on this list, which is the contact list. In Aplos, you are going to have one contact database in the system, so that's going to keep track of all of your accounting contacts as well as all of your donor contacts. So everybody will be held in one nice little home in the system. And so if you wanted to add a new contact, what you would want to do is come to the far right-hand side here and click on this green circle with a plus mark icon. And just a heads up, that green circle is going to appear in a lot of different places in the system, so you'll get familiar with that pretty quickly. So if you click on this guy, it's going to open up this page here for you where you can enter in the details for that new contact. So you can enter in their first and last name. If they're a company, you can put in the company name. If you want to add a phone number or email or address of any kind, you can just click on those green circles to add those as necessary. And then if you don't want to include them in a particular list or group of people that you have, there's options here for you to check off who should be in those groups. And then once you're all ready with that information, just go ahead and click either the Save and Add, which will save the current contact that you're working on and open up a brand new blank screen so you can enter in another contact. Or you can click Save and Close, which will save the information you just put in and then take you back to the main contact list page. All right. And so also you do have some extra actions that you can utilize on this page as well. So if you click on the Actions icon on the far right-hand side here, you do have the option to import contacts. So if you have your contact data on an Excel file, for example, you can import that information in the system. If you want to export the contact data that you have in Aplos, you can do that. And we also offer a duplicate contacts tool so that what this will do is search the contact database for any possible duplicates that you have and allow you to quickly merge those together. All right, now the list section I'm coming back to, and I'm going to just give a quick overview. Dan is going to go a little bit more in depth on that later on, but essentially what this list page is an area for you to create groups of contacts. So whether it be your board members or if you have maybe people that are within a particular program in your organization or volunteer for a particular event, you can create groupings for those types of items in this page here. And to do that, what you want to do is, again, click on that green circle with the plus mark icon. It'll open up a new page. Well, it'll ask you which type of list you want to create, a static list or a dynamic list. And then from there, you just enter in the name of the list and then the description. And on the next screen, you can add which member should be a part of that group. All right, 1099s we already covered, so I'm going to skip over to this last section here for custom fields. Custom fields, if you need to keep track of any additional information for your contacts that we don't already have a field for in the system, so maybe like an ID number of some kind, or any kind of any other information that like favorite food, something like that, whatever the case may be, you can add a custom field for that item and then still keep track of that information for your contacts. All right, so we talked about that. So now let's jump into the transaction section. I'll talk to you guys about how you enter in the information on the accounting side. So this first page we're coming to here is the register page. This is probably going to be the primary place you come to enter in your transactions. So what you would want to do from here is at the very top of the page, you're going to select which account register you're working within at that time. So for example, let's say I want to work within my checking account, so I'll select that. Once that's selected, I'll drop down here to the Add Deposit Payment area, and this is where I'm going to enter in the details for my latest transaction. So I'll start by putting in the date, and so let's say today's date, and let's say today I went to Target. So in the payee field, I'm going to put Target as my payee, and if they're not already in the system, I have the option to add them as a new contact, or if they're an existing contact I have, I'll be able to select it in the drop-down that appears. So I have my PE selected. If I want to leave a comment, I can do so in the comment field here. And so let's just say we bought supplies. All right, and let's say I spent $80, so I'll put that in the payment field. If I paid by check, I could put in a check number on this field here, but since I didn't, I'm going to skip over that. And then in the account field, I'm going to put in the applicable expense account for this transaction. So let's see if I have a supplies expense. All right, let's see which expense account do I want to use today. All right, we'll go ahead and just call this project expense. And so I have that expense account selected. As far as the fund, I'm going to go ahead and say this is part of my general fund. And then if I had a custom tag that was applicable, I can go ahead and enter that in on the tag field here at the bottom. Once my information is filled in, I'll go ahead and click submit. And then if it posts successfully, it's going to land down here in this transaction history area below. So as you can see, there's today's date, my payee target, the expense account I used, the comment I left, the payment I made, and the remaining balance within my checking account. If I want to review those details some more, or if I need to make a change to anything, I can simply click on the transaction, and that's going to open up all the details so that I can click into any of these fields to make the applicable changes. And then if you need to just quickly delete the transaction altogether, there is a trash can icon here you can click on, which will quickly remove that for you, like it never happened. All right, and so let's go ahead and talk about this one real quick before we move forward. From this register page, you do have the option to do a manual import if you like to. So if you click on this import tab here, that's going to take you to the manual import page. And so what you want to do from here is download this sample transaction file that we provide for you. And this is a template that you'll want to copy and paste your transaction data onto. Once it's all copied over, just upload your file from the left side here. And then once you upload your file, you'll see a list of available transactions that you can then import into the software. So instead of manually having to type everything in, you can simply upload your file and then just push everything into the system from there. All right, moving along here, we're going to jump to the journal entry section next. So the journal entry area, this is just an alternative way for you to enter in your transactions. You would start by putting in the date of your entry and then entering in a memo. After that point, you'll come down here to the account section and select the appropriate accounts, funds, and tags that are applicable for this entry. The main difference here on the journal entry screen is that you'll have to manually debit and credit your accounts as you enter in those in, whereas in the register, we automatically debit and credit the accounts for you. Also, something to note on this journal entry screen is you have the ability to do fund transfers in the system. So for example, if within your checking account, maybe you need to reallocate some money from your general fund to a missions fund, you can come to this fund transfer section here and then put in a memo for the entry, the date of the transfer, within what asset or liability are you transferring within. So we would say the checking account, how much do you want to transfer, and then the source fund would be where the money is going to be coming out of, so the general fund, and then the target fund where that money is going to move to, so our missions fund. And then just simply click transfer, and that's going to swap the money out, so it's going to reallocate whatever you put in between that general fund to the missions fund without actually changing the cash balance of your checking account. All right, next up, we're going to jump to the accounts payable tool that we offer. So accounts payable, this is a way for you to enter in the bills that you're going to be making payments on over time that you want to keep track of. So at the very top of the page, you'll just enter in the details for that bill, so who the vendor is, the bill date and terms. And then once you have that entered in, it's going to land down here on the pay bill section. So from here, what you want to do is find, when you're ready to make a payment, you'll just find the appropriate bill, enter in the amount you're going to be paying and the payment date. And then once that's entered in, you'll have two options. You can either click Pay Bills, which will simply record the transaction in the system for you, or you can click Pay Bills and Print Checks, which will still record the transaction, but it'll also take you to the check print page so that you're able to print out a check for that payment you're making. Once the bill's all paid off, then it's going to land down here in this History/Closed area at the bottom of the page. All right, now accounts receivable, this is the other way around. So this is if you send an invoice to someone and they're making payments to you over time, then you can create the invoice at the very top of the page. Once it's created, then it'll land down here in this Receive Payment section. From here, just find the right invoice and put in the amount you're receiving and the receive date, and then just click the Receive Payment button to record that payment in the system. As far as sending out this invoice, you do have a couple options. So if you check the box and select column here, you'll have the option to either print out the invoice so that you can hand deliver it to your people, or you can click the email invoice option, which will allow you to send in that invoice in an email to that person. So whatever option is best for you guys. Once that invoice is all paid off, then it's going to land down here in this History/Closed section below. All right, moving along here, we're going to jump to the bank integration tool now. So bank integration, this is a time-saving tool that we offer, which allows you to connect your bank account with your Aplos account so that you can quickly record transactions. So what will happen is once you have your bank connected, you'll see a list of available transactions that you're able to import that have posted at the bank. So we are able to bring in the majority of information here, such as the date of the transaction, any check numbers or notes and memos that are available, the payee name, and the amount of the transaction. The only information we can't bring over are the account and fund for that transaction. So when you see your available transactions, you'll just have to select which account or fund are applicable. And then once you have those both filled in, you can either click the import option on the right-hand side here to individually move a transaction into the system, or you can check multiple transactions off at a time, and then you can click import selected at the top of the page, and this will allow you to move multiple transactions at once for you. All right, next up is bank reconciliation. So bank reconciliation, this is a checks and balances type of tool that we offer. So this allows you to make sure that everything in Aplos is accurate with what's showing on your bank statements. So from here, this is a way for you to make sure that you don't have any missing transactions in Aplos, you don't have any duplicates, or if you haven't, or to make sure you haven't recorded something incorrectly in the system. So again, just a good tool to make sure that everything is good in Aplos. All right, the last page we have here is the check print page. So as I mentioned earlier, you are able to print out checks from the software if you'd like to. If you would like to print out a check, then when you come to this screen, you'll see a list of available transactions that you can print a check for. Just simply check off which transaction or transactions you want to print the check for, enter in your starting check number, and then click this print button below. Once you do that, a PDF file will be downloaded to your computer that's going to contain all the details for that transaction. As far as what types of checks we support both draft and voucher style checks like shown here in the examples. If you don't have these types of checks available, you can use the link here on this page, and that'll take you to our preferred provider Dynamic Systems where you can order those checks from. All right, so that's enough for transactions. Now, before I jump to the reports page, I'm going to jump to the very bottom for this payroll section. So we are, as I mentioned earlier, partnered with Gusto Payroll, and they are a wonderful payroll provider. They're a full-service payroll system. So, and the great thing about the integration with them is that everything that gets done in Gusto just goes into Aplos for you. So there's no export-import process. It's just simply whatever happens in Gusto gets pushed over into Aplos for you. And then if you tell them that you're an Aplos customer, you actually get your first 3 months for free, which is another great reason to kind of look into them. So if payroll is something you need, Gusto is definitely the way to go for you guys if you wanted to make that connection with Aplos a lot smoother and more efficient. All right, jumping up here to the reports page. So in Aplos, we do offer a variety of reports that you can run in the system. I'm just going to show you examples of a couple today. So the first one we're going to look at here is the balance sheet. Balance sheet, this gives you a quick snapshot of where your assets, liabilities, and equity accounts stand as of a certain date. So as of today, these are the balances of my accounts. And then if I want to see the breakdown of that total amount that's listed, I can simply click on that amount, and it'll take me to a transaction list report where I can see the details of the breakdown for what makes up that total amount. All right, and the next report we're going to look at is the income statement report. So this is your basic profit and loss report, what's come in, what's gone out as of a certain date range. Most of the reports in Aplos do run off of a date range rather than as of date like the balance sheet. So if you want to change the date range a little bit, you can click in the left field here. And we do offer some preset options such as this month, last month, this year, last year. And we also offer a custom date range option as well. So if you need to do a custom date range, just select that option and put in the applicable dates. Also available in all your reports are going to be these blue buttons that go across the top of the page. The first one here for share, this allows you to email a report directly from the system to some designated individuals. So at the very top, you'll select which format you want the report to be in, so either some type of Excel file or a PDF file. Once you have that selected, then you can select where the emails are going to be coming from, where the reply to should be sent. And in the Send To section, you can either choose from a group of people that you've already created or an individual contact, or if the person is not already in the system, you can simply type in their email address. Once your information is all filled out, then go ahead and just click that share button on the right-hand side here, and that'll send the report right off to those designated individuals. The save option here, this allows you to save a report as is. So if you have a report that you made a lot of modifications to that you're going to continue using in that way moving forward, instead of redoing those customizations every time, just click the save option here, and the next time you go to the reports page, you'll have a category for saved reports where you can access that previously saved report. The print option here, this allows you to print out the report if you'd like to, and then the download option here, that allows you to export the report either as an Excel file or a PDF file to your computer. All right, so the last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about under this accounting area now is this little gear icon next to the accounting title. If you click on that gear, that takes you to an advanced settings page, and all those different features I just talked about, so accounts payable, accounts receivable, integration, reconciliation, etc. They'll all be listed here, and if there's something that you just think your organization is just not going to use, you can simply click hide for that feature, and that'll disable it from your account. On the other hand, if there's something that's not turned on that you actually want to use, then you can click show, and that'll enable it on your account, so you can go ahead and use that. And then all these features are included with your subscription cost, so it doesn't make a difference if you turn something on or off, and you can always change that at any time. But what is cool about this advanced settings section that we haven't talked about yet is the period close option that's available. So the period close option, this allows you to shut down your books up to a certain point in time. And so if you go to this period close option, take you to the period close management page here, and say you're trying to shut down your books for the 2017. So we'll go in the period date field here, and we'll go ahead and just select December 31st of 17. And then from there, just click close period. And what that'll do is lock everything that I have in the system up until December 31st of 17. And so this way I can't go back and make any changes to any existing transactions. And I also can't add anything new to that time period. So just if you're looking for a good way to just make sure that everything is closed and unavailable for you to make changes to, this is a great tool to use to do that. But we do understand that sometimes, mistakes happen. Sometimes you need to go back. So you are always able to open a closed period if needed. All right. And so that's everything I have to offer for the accounting side now. So hopefully that answered a lot of you guys' questions about the fund accounting aspect of the system. Right now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dan so he can talk to you guys more about the donor management side of things.
Great job, Aaron. Awesome with the accounting things. I'm going to talk to you about some other support areas and things like that here in a second. Before we do that, I see that a bunch of questions came in during Aaron's presentation, which is great in terms of users and some of that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to keep going at this point, and then we're going to come towards the end and then answer kind of these in a row. So Harold, if you don't mind hanging in there. In terms of somebody said that Aaron's voice is kind of going in and out. Sometimes it just can be a connection issue, so I apologize if you are getting a little bit choppy voice from time to time. So sometimes internet connection pops in and out, both on your end or our end. So again, I hope that that will work itself out. So again, Cindy, Harold, Annette, I see some questions here. We will come back to those, so hang in there with us. So with that, I'm going to kind of keep going here, get my mouse back on the screen that hopefully you can see. We should have made that bigger this time when we didn't. But one of the really exciting things about Aplos that we're excited to share with you, again, whether you are just checking us out or you already paid, is that if you can kind of imagine as a nonprofit or a church or ministry, you have to do several things. One, you have to do your finances, your income and your expenses, your traditional accounting. But then you also have to manage your donors, your donations, your fundraising. You have to do fundraising, and you have to communicate back out to those donors and prospects. And really, for many years, most softwares, what you have to do is you have to get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 different subscriptions to make all that happen in one place. What we're really excited about with Aplos is you can do those all in one spot. So, for example, you would need an accounting software such as QuickBooks or something like that, Quicken, something like that. You need donor management. Some people will call that a CRM or constituent relationship management. That's your second subscription. And the two have to play nice together. They have to talk to each other. And then after that, you need some kind of online donation tool where you can give people the ability to pay online. So you need a credit card processing as well as an online donation page builder. And then you also need to be able to email and communicate back out, sending letters and emails to your donors. So those all require or have required in the past 3 or 4, sometimes 5 different subscriptions or pieces of software, and you have to jump in and out of the software. What we're really super pumped about here at Aplos is we offer all of that in one place. So like right up here on the left, Aaron went over the accounting. Now we're going to jump into donor management. And this is for me, because Aaron's kind of an accounting nerd and I'm a donation fundraising nerd. So that's kind of my background is fundraising. And this is what really gets me excited right here. So we're going to click the 3 heads, what we call the 3 people or the 3 heads. So if you call our support line and we say click on the 4 bars, click on the 3 heads or the 3 people, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about your donations or your donor management. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start from top to bottom. We're going to go back into contacts. I'm going to show you a few more details in contacts that Aaron didn't show you. Then we're going to get into some fundraising in terms of how to raise money, track your money, and then some communication tools. So let's go back up here into contacts, back into contact list. Like I said, Aaron was already there at one point, but there are a few additional features that are really fun that we can get into. So let's go ahead and I'm going to type in a name here. So I'm going to type in one of my favorite contacts, which is Michael Scott from Dunder Mifflin. And he's one of my donors. And what we can get into here is because, again, we're on the donation side or the donor management side, we want to learn as much as we can about our donors and prospects. We want to kind of grab, I like to call it the donor DNA. How much can you learn about them? So, of course, you're going to get all your details that Aaron explained. You can put, address, phone number, emails, as well as custom fields. If there's a field that's not offered, you can provide a custom field that might work for your nonprofit or ministry. The other thing you can do right up here is you can create some notes. They can be an observation note about that donor or prospect, something that you learned or want to know about that person. It could be informational, such as somebody likes email, but they don't like phone calls, or somebody doesn't want to be invited to big events or something like that. We talked about lists. These are going to be a really powerful and probably one of the more powerful tools we have in Aplos. The ability to associate your donors or prospects with different groups and lists that you create. So we're going to make Michael a board member. We're also going to make him a turtle rescue volunteer as well. We're going to save that, and now I'm going to come back in a few and show you how to do that. Again, this is where the history of the contributions are going to be. We call these report of contacts. A report of contact is going to be kind of an ongoing diary of interactions with those donors or prospects. So, for example, let's suppose that you as the director of your nonprofit went out and had a meeting with Michael, and that was going to be on Monday. You did that, and you said you had coffee with Mike to discuss new project or something like that. He did not seem interested, or maybe he did, something like that. Sorry about the typo on that. I will fix that real quick. New project, and I'm going to say coffee. and we're going to save. And so now what you have is you have this kind of ongoing history. And so every time that you input that, it's going to kind of do a stamp, and then you can go back and look at the history. This is really important for a couple of reasons. One is as a fundraising, I'm going to put on my hat and say, think about yourself. And when you started your position at your nonprofit church or ministry, what records did you have to go by? And then also thinking about forward, if you were to ever leave, somebody else that was coming, what could they learn by looking through the reports of contact? The other thing that happens here, which is really exciting, I'm going to show you this back in real time in a few minutes, is that anytime that you print a letter or send an email from our software, it will automatically print and stamp a report of contact right here. It will say letter sent on this date or email sent on this date. You can also add relationships. It could be somebody that works in the same company. It could be a relative that is also connected to your nonprofit. Any important dates, such as an anniversary, a birthday, you can also track birthdays and details here as well. And then we also have this reminder field. A reminder is a nice little workflow tool for you. So let's say, for example, we're going to add a reminder. We're going to say, let's say we're going to fire Mike on Friday, okay, because he was not a good employee. Or maybe he's a donor and you want to do something like that. All you have to do is put save and close. And then right over here on the left-hand side, we have this communication tool. We have this thing called the feed. If you go right here to the feed, this is a place where you can go and you can look at your different reminders. So right up here, here's your reminder. You can dismiss that reminder. You can postpone it. You can actually add a communication straight from here, or you can email a message to Mike or whatever. So some of our customers, what they do is they use this feed as kind of a daily or a weekly workflow reminder. They'll log into Aplos. They'll go right to the feed. They'll say, oh, look what I need to do today. I need to send an email. I need to contact a new donor or a new prospect, something in that area like that. So that's a real powerful tool as well. We talked about lists, so just kind of want to emphasize that a little bit more. This is what's called static lists. I think Aaron showed you it's very easy. Again, the green plus button will and is your friend in Aplos. So just by creating that, you can very easily create a new group. So we'll call this, golf players or something like that, people that like to play in the golf tournaments. So easy to create. And then you go right into a contact, and as you've seen, you can just click and add those to a group. And you can do as many groups as you want. The dynamic list, which I'm going to get into, also known as list builder or list designer, we're going to get into. This is going to be a way to take specific information about these groups and run a list or report. And I'm going to show you how that looks in a second. Okay, we talked about custom fields. Again, if there's a field that you want to add that you don't see in the contact area, just go ahead and utilize that as well. So that's how your contacts are going to look and feel. Again, a great way to manage your people, track your donors and prospects. And we do call everything in Aplos donors or prospects. So with that, let's jump into the fundraising field. So again, we're working contacts, which are about your people. Your fundraising is going to be about your money or raising money or tracking who's giving you when. So let's start right up here to the fundraising center. What we do in Aplos is we have a really fun and easy way to manage your people. Anytime that you enter somebody in the software, in the donation area as a donation, whether they've given money or not, as long as they're in the contact area, we're going to break those people into one of four buckets for you. We're either going to call them prospects, which is somebody who's either never given or has not given to your organization or 2 years or more. We call those prospects. That's somebody that you're hoping to cultivate and maybe become a donor to your church ministry or nonprofit. A new donor is somebody who's given one time in the past year. An engaged donor is somebody who's given multiple times, 2 or more times during the past year. And a lapsed donor who's somebody who gave last year who's yet to give this year. The reason we do this for you is that this is where a lot of nonprofits and churches struggle a little bit in terms of keeping people engaged. And as you know, in this day and age, there's a lot of competition for people's dollars and their donations. And so the better you track them and who they are, the better you can communicate to them. So, for example, you might want to send an engaged donor a different letter than you do a new donor. Or you want to make sure new donors get a phone call or a special card from a board member or from the executive director or the pastor if you're a church, something like that. And I understand that a lot of pastors don't track how much people give, but certainly a little card saying, hey, we appreciate your support would go a long ways for a donor. Okay, so that's just a little dash bar or a little dashboard that we give you, similar to the one that when you log into Aplos. Contributions, this is going to be a super important tab for you because it also connects to the accounting side of things. So if you remember right up in here when Aaron was in accounting, you do have the ability when you get checks and money and cash to track those. What you'll want to do is you actually want to jump into here to the donation management area, and you want to do it in contributions. You have two ways you can do it. The first way is to do them individually, meaning that you go out, you have coffee with somebody, or somebody hands you a check. You come back to the office. You want to donate. You want to deposit that check right away. You just go right here, and you go to add a contribution, and this is where you can do. Let's put Aaron. Aaron gave me a check, and he gave it for my general fund. You have the ability to mark this as acknowledged or unacknowledged, meaning that are you going to send a thank you letter right there, or are you going to wait till a different time? If you wait, you can keep it as unacknowledged, or you can acknowledge it right away. And then you can later on run a report later in the week saying, show me all my unacknowledged gifts, and then send them a quick acknowledgement. We'll just call it today's date. Let's say $250 because today's payday, and Aaron was feeling quite good about the nonprofit. Any expenses around this gift, such as a credit card fee or something like that, or any non-tax deductible amount, NTD, if you're not familiar, is when you're going to separate a donation against something like a golf tournament or a dinner, something where they get something in return for that gift. And I'm just simply going to put save and add, and then my contributions have been added. So I'm going to go right over here back to the contributions area, and you'll see here's Aaron's gift. Now, what will happen here is that if I hit go ahead and deposit this money, okay, and I get save and close. Oops, I'm going to hit deposit. I'm going to hit create deposit. Two things happen right here. I'm going to associate this with a checking account, okay, an income account. Okay, so we're going to go income here, right? Oops, not expense account. And I'm going to hit save right here. And then when I go into my accounting side of things, and I go to my register, you're going to see it's going to show here's that contributions deposit right here. So what you're not having to do is double enter. So you're going to enter it in the contribution side so that you track the donor who gave how much into what purpose or cause, but then it's going to land in your register. So it's going to show that $250 was added to your checking account. So that's how that works there. But even better than that, as many of you are saying, well, what if I have a whole stack of checks? Maybe you're a church, or maybe you've done a fundraiser. It's Monday morning and you've got a whole bunch of checks. You're going to do the same thing, but this time you're going to go to deposits instead of contributions. And you're going to go right over here to our favorite green circle, and you're going to create what we call a batch. And in this scenario, you've got 3 or 4 checks that you're going to track at one time. So you're going to put the date of the deposit. Let's say it's today's date, and we're going to call it Saturday fundraiser, or again, if you're a church, maybe it's Sunday offering or something like that. We get a lot of people that use that. And then you're just going to do really the same action where you're going to put the date that's on the check. If there's a check number, something like that, you're going to just select the donor. As you begin to add people into your software, their names will pop up. So I'm just going to go there. I'm going to select a purpose, and I'm going to show you how to add purposes in just a minute or two, in case you're wondering how this kind of all works right here. But we're going to call this a general fund gift. We're going to call this 500. Again, nothing there. We're going to go ahead and acknowledge this to kind of keep the flow of this webinar going. Okay. And same thing. Let's say the date on the check was for Sunday. There's a check number. Now, let's say this is a new donor. So we're going to call this Tim Taylor, for those of you who remember that show right there. We're going to go back. Now, see right here, there's 2 things you can do right here. You can quickly add Tim as a donor, Or you can go to this magnifying glass right here, and you can actually start to add their details right then and there. So if you've got their information, you can add their address, their email, their phone number right from there. So that's a really nice little feature as well. And you're just going to go there, and you'll just kind of keep going row by row, as we said here. So we're going to go, again, the date. I'll do this for the last one so we can kind of keep going. Let's have another person right here. We have Jane. Again, we don't need this row right there, so we're going to eliminate it. And we're going to call this 200 this time. We're going to put this to a different purpose this time. This is going to be a missions gift. So if you need to split a gift, meaning that Jane's given to two things, well, all you need to do is you just need to put her, again, add another row, put her name a second time, and put where that's going to go. Again, in this case, we're going to post this to accounting. We're going to hit save. There's my three contributions right there. And then if I go back to my accounting and my transactions and my register, there you're going to see that I just listed those deposits. So that's how easy it is to use. Simple. Aplos means simple in Greek. And we're really trying to provide a place that's easy to track your people and your money and your expenses and the different buckets those go into, such as your funds. So that's kind of how that works there. Another neat thing in contributions, you have the ability to add pledges. A pledge is a promise somebody makes to your nonprofit, church, or ministry. A pledge is when somebody says, I want to give you a certain amount of money, but I want to do it over time. So you just set up the pledge here. You just set up the person, how much that pledge is for, if they want to do it monthly, weekly, quarterly, annually, once a year, whichever. And then you set that up. And then what's really cool is the next time you go into your contributions. So I'm going to go into contributions, and I'm going to go add contributions. And if somebody has an existing pledge with me, so let's say Ryan Adams here has a pledge, I'm going to click his name. Do you see it automatically notices that he has a pledge? And so the software is asking me, do I want to apply this to a pledge, or is this going to be for something that's not for a pledge? And all you need to do is click the pledge, hit save and add, and that payment will go right to his pledge from there. So that's how easy pledges are to work. And then we also have a report available where you can do pledge reminders and list who has open pledges, how much they owe, so you can run a full report, or you can send individuals pledge reminding reports. So that's a great thing as well. One of our favorite, I don't know if there's a favorite, but one of our super awesome tools in Aplos is the ability to create your own online donation form. So this is a way for you to raise money. So all you have to do is simply go to online forms. So this is a scenario where you're going to create a customizable online donation form for your church, nonprofit, or ministry, and you're going to attach that form to your website. There's a couple things I'm going to kind of point out. One, how to build it, and then what it kind of looks like. There's two ways that you can go about doing it. The first is you can create an actual form, and we'll actually kind of show you what that looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of show you what a form looks like, and then we're going to actually go and build one for you kind of as part of this demo. So I'm going to go to this website right here. This is Macarios International. They are an Aplos customer. This is their website, not an Aplos website. But soon you'll be able to build a website in Aplos. So you're going to go to their website, and you're going to hit the Donate Now button in Macarios. Okay. And as you can see here, this is an Aplos donation page. This is what they were able to customize just by simply following our builder, which I'm going to show you in a second. They have a logo. They have their logo. They have a nice picture. They have some instructions, what donor information they want to track, such as address. You have to put an email in. The donation amount, whether it's going to be one time, you can set up recurring giving right here, which is an awesome way to raise more money for your organization, as well as any messages. And then this is what we love. You do have the ability to ask the donors to pay the transaction fee. Super great, easy tool, easy to build, and easy to apply for your nonprofit. And it's all right here. So that's going to be the first way, which is we call the online donation form. We'll talk about fees in just one second. The second way to do this is going to be doing it this way. We have the ability to do what's called a widget. A widget is is a different way to do it. So we went to a form this way. In the widget, what you're going to do, again, this is a website. This is the Help Save the Puppies website. Oh, look at that puppy. And you click the Donate Now button. And instead of going to a page, what's going to happen is this little pop-up is going to pop up right there. So you're not leaving your website. Now what you can do is you can make that donation right here utilizing this widget. And this is again, easy tool to use. You don't really have to know code. You just have to kind of follow a very simple set of instructions from there. And I'm going to actually show you in 1 second how that looks and works. So let's go ahead and get out of that. Did I just leave, Aaron? Did I just leave the Aplos page? Yeah, I'm going to go back. Here we go. Okay, so you can see right here in my online forms area, I already have a form set up. I can at any time go in, I can edit my form. So I'm going to go right here. You can see I have a Save the Turtles page right here, and I can edit an existing form at any time. Very easy to create. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you from just really fast. If I wanted to create a new form, I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to say, do I want to do a form or a widget? Either way, it's just going to walk you through a series of steps. Here's a blank form. So basically, you can just, again, see how easy this is. You can do this by adding a photo, any kind of message that you want to create, the donor information that you want to track. In this case, this is just an email, but if you just open up this window, you can then just add whatever fields you want to include. So every time you click or unclick something, it will it's going to require an email. That this is the minimum that's required. But if you want more information, you just add different things right there. Okay, as well as you can customize some a logo just by again selecting a logo from either a library or any kind of drive that you have access to. So that's where you do that there. You can customize some colors. We're going to give you some different color options so that you can try to get to match a little closer to your own website or logo of your organization. And then the donation amounts. Again, all customizable. You can select the donation amounts. All you do is just simply by clicking the X button, you can add donation. You can add $5, $10, whichever you want to do, and then your purposes, which I'm going to show you to have those. Anytime you add a purpose in the Aplos software, it will then automatically give you that option to add that purpose here in the purpose area. And then the transaction fees. This is an important one because there is transaction fees with any online donation tool, no matter if you use us or PayPal or any other one out there. There's going to be some kind of transaction fee. We are a partner with WePay. WePay is the company that does our credit card processing. And when you sign up with Aplos, you have the option to sign up for a WePay account. Once you give them a little information about you and your nonprofit, you will then have a WePay account. And then you can create this form. And then when people give, they're gonna their money's gonna go from their credit card to your WePay account, which is then going to transfer to your checking or savings account. The transaction fees are there's no fee to set up or use this page, setup fees, anything like that. The only fees are the transaction fees. Transaction fees are 2% for automatic checking if you are a registered nonprofit or a church, if you're a nonprofit. 2% from automatic checking and 3% for Visa, MasterCard, and 30 cents per transaction on that. So that's how those fees work. And then again, your donors can pay those fees. So let's go right back here to online forms real quick. I want to just show you. And again, same thing with the widget. You see, again, I had a form already created. I'm going to show you right here. This is a widget. A widget, again, is that one little pop-up. Again, all easy to create and customize right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to click out of that. There, let's go back to forms and just again the same process. You're going to go right here. I'm going to say I'm going to create a new donation widget. I'm going to name it new widget. If I want to describe it, and again, what you're doing here is you're creating. First thing you're doing is the donation amounts. If this is a one-time gift or reoccurring, and then your donation or your donor information amount. Okay, so what you're losing in the widget is the ability to do customized pictures and a big long message, but you're gaining the ability for that widget to pop up right on your website without the feeling of leaving your website, which some people, that's important to them, but we're going to give you both options. In regards to purposes, which we talked about, if you want to add purposes, so meaning somebody goes to your online forum, they want to give to a particular project, program, or ministry, what you can do is you go right here into Aplos, into purposes. Purposes are different than funds in that purposes are a particular area of your nonprofit, church, and ministry that people give to. So we already have some general ones, but let's say, for example, that you have a particular person, project, or something like that. You just go right here. Any purpose that you create, again, you want to create an income account. So we're just going to call this fundraising income. You're going to select a fund. So any purpose belongs to a fund. So let's say, for example, that you have somebody that has a particular project within the Save the Turtles fund. So I'm going to go Save the Turtles, and the purpose is going to be Sea Rescue Team or something like that. Okay. Whoops, I have to learn how to spell Aaron. So this is the Sea Rescue Team, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it, and now I have a new purpose. So the next time I go into my online donation form builder, okay, and I'm going to go to Actions right here. I'm going to go to Edit, okay, and I'm going to go to Donations, okay, and I'm going to go to Purposes, and right here, here's my Sea Rescue Team. I can now add that to my form right there. So you can see how easy it is. I mean, really, if you are one that's logged on, that you're feeling intimidated by web-based software or the fear of having to, learn coding or anything like that, you can just be rest assured that how easy this is to use and set things up. So that's your online forms right there. What will happen is, again, once those donations are made, then those will land right here in your software. So if it's a reoccurring donor, you can just log in, go to reoccurring donations, and this is where they live, right here. And then same with your online donations. As soon as those literally within seconds after they're made, they will show up right here on this page right here. And then, as I said, on the accounting side of things, should I jump over? On the accounting side of things, what's going to happen over here in your accounting is under transactions, you're going to go to registers. Once you create a WePay account, you're going to then have a WePay register. So anything that happens in WePay will show up in your accounting over here. So that's how everything all kind of lives together, plays together, and like we just like to say here at Aplos, plays nicely together, and that's really important from there. Okay, so that's where you're going to track who's giving and how much they give. We talked about purposes, and I'm going to come back to List Designer. This last area is what we call our communications. Our communications, so we talked about fundraising, how to track your money, how to raise money, how people can give. They can either give by check or they can give online or give you cash. And then you track that. Now we have communications. Communications is the tools that we're going to give you to reach back out to those donors. Same as the fundraising center, we're going to give you a dashboard. The dashboard is going to be a place for you to kind of see what kind of activity is going on. It says here, oh, look, you have 14 prospects that have not been touched, meaning you need to reach out to them. You need to send them something. You need to call them, whichever. You have one new donor with an unacknowledged gift. So what we're trying to do is do some of the basic work for you. These are things that statistically will keep donors engaged or not engaged in your nonprofit, meaning are they being thanked? Are they being reached out to? Are they being touched? Are they being talked to? Okay. The feed we already talked about. This is just that workflow. Email campaigns. We give you in Aplos the ability to create and generate and send your own email campaigns. This would be in lieu of like Constant Contact or MailChimp. If you want to use Aplos to send out mass emails or some kind of campaign announcement, something like that, you can do that here. Very easily just by, again, it's all field-based. You just kind of, you name it, describe it, what's the subject, who your list is, you create a list, and then you create it. We're going to go right here to email templates to show you some of the things you can do. So, for example, you can use one of our very simple already done templates, or you can create your own, such as a newsletter, and all you have to do is just update the list. Again, it's very customizable. We're going to give you a couple options. Some email campaigns are going to give you like 100. We're going to give you a couple very simple, easy to use. And then what you're going to do here, you're going to customize it with your own logo. Again, I can update. I could throw in a logo or whatever. Select one from the library, so I can put Aplos, confirm, something like that. So now see how quickly I just put in my logo. And again, a photo or something like that, and then whatever language you want to say. Or what you want to say. What's nice about this is you can use what we call our custom fields. Custom fields gives you the ability to make this personal. So you can send out 50 emails, each one saying, Dear Dan, Dear Aaron, Dear Sue, Dear Jane, whoever, as well as customize that gift amount. So it's mergeable fields is what it is. So what you can then do is you could easily send out a weekly email or a monthly thank you to a group of people, thanking them by name and for a certain gift and a certain dollar amount. Or you could just do, general announcements or fundraising appeals or whatever. That's all going to live right here. The automatic email section is going to give you the ability to, when somebody does make an online donation, you can set it up to where they'll automatically get a receipt and a thank you of some kind, or the other side is if that donation didn't process, they can get an automatic response saying that something didn't go right there. Okay, so that's your emails. Those of you who still enjoy doing letters, old-fashioned snail mail, that option is also available, or you can do a combination of the both. Same ideas with your letters. You can create templates. You can see that we also give you a bunch of tutorials. I haven't opened this version of this letter builder in a while, so Jane is asking me if I need help, so I'm going to close that. And I can just, again, favorite green plus button. By creating a new letter, I'm going to name it. I'm going to call it a weekly donor thanks. Okay, we're going to automatically give you a 1-inch margin to work with, and then right from here I can start to type my fields, such as I could do a date, August 15, 2018, and then you're going to start jumping into your fields. So dear, and then again, mergeable fields. I'm going to show you how easy this is. Comma. Thank you so much for your recent gift of, and then again, using those mergeable fields, we're going to say a last donation amount, something like that. And the drill from here. We appreciate your support, something like, something in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this letter. Okay, and so now I have a template. Okay, and this is where I'm going to show you kind of in real time how things all come together in Aplos in our communications area. So let's say, for example, that you want to run a list of people and associate those people with an already done letter. So I'm going to go to List Designer right here, and I'm going to say I want maybe any donation during the past month, and I'm just going to simply hit Preview. I have 4 people. These are people that have given me new gifts in the past month. From here, all I have to do is go to my actions. Well, what I'll do first is I'll save this list. I'm going to call it donations. Okay, I'm going to save it. Now what I'm going to do is go to actions, and I'm going to go to that letter. I'm going to go print letters. I'm going to select that weekly donor thanks that I did. Now watch how easy this is. I'm just going to hit preview and print. Obviously, if this is a longer letter, that would all show up here. But you can see here I have dear Aaron, dear Aaron. And then if I go to the next one, there's Jane, there's Tim again. Okay, very simple. Now what will happen is if these all look good to go, they look good, the logo's good, all you have to do is you'll hit download letters. I'm going to hit confirm. There's my letters right here in a PDF. And all you have to do is just hit your print button from here. So that's how that works. Now watch what happens. I'm going to go back into my contacts. I'm going to go to my contact list. And I'm going to select Aaron as an example. I'm going to go to Aaron's contact card. And when I go to reports of contact, right here, it says printed weekly letter donor thanks. belongs to donations list. Isn't that great? So very easy to manage, use, and operate. And you're basically going to do the same thing if you wanted to do this as an email. So I could take that, save list. So let's go to list. Anytime that you create a customized list like that, we call that a dynamic list. Here's my donation list I just did. I select it. Now this time I can associate it with an email instead of a letter. So I'll go send email. Again, select a campaign. I would have to have had a template, put it together, and it's ready to go. Okay, so that just shows you some of the powerful tools that are available in Aplos. And I just want to quickly emphasize List Designer. Super powerful tool in terms of the things that you can create. So let's say, for example, I want to generate a list of all of my board members. I'm going to say any donation during the past 6 months, and all I'm going to do is put that "and" button. Now I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to find they are in a group. Do you remember we created those groups? They're going to put in group, and look at the groups list is right here, and they're a board member, something like that. So these are kind of the different types of things that you can do right here with List Designer. So that's a really powerful tool. So I want to start wrapping it up and kind of bringing it home a little bit. I want to talk about the donation reports. I know Aaron talked about reports a little bit already. And then we're going to get into some question and answers here real quick. So, again, reports all live in the same area, whether it's an accounting report or a donation report. You just go into reports, you select the area called donations, and here are some of the donor reports that you can do. Donations by contact, live bunts and side bunts, which is somebody who gave last year but not this year, as well as you can do pledge reports here. I want to show you the donation by contact because this is probably one of our most common questions. This is also where you do contribution statements. Probably one of the highest questions that we get when people call is, can I do contribution statements? And the answer is absolutely yes, and it is so easy you can't even imagine. So what you're going to do is you're going to run a donations by contact report. You're going to select the date frame. So let's just say it was last year. And then I'm going to go to extra actions, and I'm going to say print contribution statements. I'm going to ask, do I want a detailed or summary, meaning do I want every gift or just a summary of all their gifts? Everything looks good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go print. And what's going to happen is I've just printed all my contribution statements for 2017, as you can see right here. Okay, the name, if there was an address associated with this, obviously this is a demo account, so we don't have all these people addresses, that would all show up. We print these up in a window format for you, so you can just stick them in a window envelope, or you don't have to, you can just put them in a regular envelope, as well as print labels right from the software. So again, that's just to kind of show you how easy it is to run contribution statements, or if you just want a donor report for the month or something like that. You just go this quarter. You can even filter it by the funds, the accounts, the purposes, whatever it is you are looking for. So let's just say, for example, I want to know everybody that's just given to my missions and my sea rescue team. I would hit apply, and I have one donor. Okay, something like that. Or you could even filter by donor. So there's just a lot of great, powerful tools in here as well. So that's our donor management. I'm going to just point out one or two more simple things, and then we're going to get into some Q&A. Again, just to know that we have an awesome resource center. If you need help at any time, probably the first place to go is this little question box. The question box is where you can get some help by going to some articles, videos, those kinds of things. So let's say, for example, you forgot how to do contribution statements. You can just type in contribution statements or contributions or how to track pledges or whatever. We're going to give you an article, sometimes a video, just kind of a very easy to follow, easy to manage kind of way to learn, self-learning kind of thing. The other thing you can do is give us a call. At our support line, we answer phones Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are in California, so we're on Pacific Standard Time. And then we also have this nice little tool over here on the right, which is this little smiley face, we call it intercom. It is not a live chat. However, it is a way for you to email in a question. And then from there, what we can do is we will respond and typically within an hour, sometimes 2 hours, depending on our phones are always our first priority during the day, intercom, and then we also check it on the evenings and weekends. So those are some resources for you. So hopefully that will help you out. We really are proud of our customer support. Support is free. You do not pay any extra to give us a call and let us help you out. So with that, Aaron's going to come back up here and join me, and we are going to look at some of the Q&A and kind of help you with some of your questions. So Aaron, come on back up. So let's start right here. Oh, and there. Okay.
All right, perfect. Well, welcome. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. So we're just looking at these questions right now, and let's see where we're going to start today. So the first question I see here is from Harold. It says, how many users can be in Aplos at one time? So it's a great question. Because we are a completely web-based system, you are able to have as many users as you want to have logged in at the same time. So multiple people can be logged in at the same time from different devices from all over the world, if that's the case, and you can work in the software at the same time. There's no trouble with having multiple people working in the system at one time. Let's see. So the next one here. Okay, so let's see. Annette, we'll go ahead and follow up with you about the recording for the webinar. Let's see, difference between static and dynamic lists, Harold. Dan already touched on that a little bit, but just to
just want to reemphasize, a static list is a permanent list, so we'll call them a group. So if you want to create a field of a group, such as a member, a volunteer, a Sunday school teacher, that is called a static list. That's going to be, you're creating a group. A dynamic list is what you're going to do is you're going to search details within the software, such as I want to see all my donors who are members. I want to see anybody who lives in a certain zip code. That would what we call a dynamic list. We also call that donor segmentation. You're segmenting what's in the database based off of that criteria. Hopefully that makes sense.
Perfect. Cindy, let's see, you had a couple questions that came in too. So can you add attachments? I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's for the accounting side of the software. If that is the case, then you can do that. So if you go under transactions, let's go back to the register page here. So anything that you've entered in the register, so let's go back to this target transaction I did. From the details here, there's a little paperclip icon. So if I click on that, I am able to add some file attachment to this transaction. So I could always reference that attachment whenever I look at this entry. So if that's something you're looking to do, you're definitely more than welcome to do it from there. Let's see, you also talked about bank feeds. So I'm assuming that that's a way just to connect the information from your bank account to Aplos, which if that is the case, bank integration tool, that's the one you'll want to go to. That is a way for you to connect your bank account to Aplos so that everything that's been posted at the bank will just transfer over to Aplos so you can quickly import that into the system. Let's see. All right. Next up here says, if you have linked your bank account and you are also entering in transactions to the register, will you have the ability to merge transactions that are not double entered? That's a great question, Justin. All right. So to answer that question, so what happens if you already have transactions entered in the system that look similar to what is being pulled over from bank integration? You'll actually have a marker. So we will flag the transactions that come through on bank integration to let you know that, hey, this looks similar to something we already have in the system, so you may want to check this out before you import. If that is the case, then in bank integration, there is an easy way for you to just, right next to the import button, there's actually a hide option. So just click that hide option for everything that would be a possible duplicate. And the last question here again from Cindy. So we have, can you keep track of in-kind donations? Which is absolutely yes. You are definitely able to keep track of in-kind donations. So to do that, what we recommend doing is just to come back to the donor management side here. Under fundraising, we can go to contributions. First step here is to go under purposes, and you'll want to make sure that you have some kind of in-kind donations purpose. With in-kind donations, since these are non-cash items, we don't recommend assigning these to the accounting side of the system. So in this particular case, this purpose would not be linked to an income accounting fund. It would simply just be for donation record only. But if there is a case, because I know sometimes people receive in-kind donations such as maybe a car or a building or some kind of large asset that they do need to keep track of, in which that's a kind of a rarer case, but you can definitely keep that in your accounting. But everything else, if it's like food or just clothing, some kind of non-cash donation, small like that, then you can make sure you have a purpose set up for in-kind donations. Then when you go to the contributions page, just go ahead and add your contribution like normal, and then just be sure that you select your in-kind donation purpose. And then once that's recorded here on the contribution side, that will reflect on the contribution statement and on the donor's history as well. All right.
So with that, if there's any other questions, I know some of you are, we promised you about an hour and a half, and we've got a few more minutes. So if you have any other questions, and certainly you can reach out to us at Aplos. You can email support, SUPPORT, at aplos.com. That would be a great, easy way to get one of our support specialists. Or you can, if you're looking for Aaron, if you have an accounting question, you can, you're very welcome, Cindy. You can email Aaron at Aaron, which is AARON at aplos.com. Again, that's AARON at aplos.com. Harold, I'll come back to this question. And my email is dan.kimball, is DAN.KIM as in Mary, BALL. So that's dan.kimball at aplos.com. How about attachments and donor management? Not as much. So in the case of under the contacts area, there's really not like, I know some people like to attach other things. There's really not a lot there. So I'm going to say at this point there's really not. Harold, you might want to maybe send us an example of something you would want to attach in the donor management area. Can you do it in contributions, Aaron? Yeah, you can. So there's only on the accounting side at this point, but that's great feedback, and I'd like to talk with you further about that if need be. If that's something that you really need, we can look into that. So any other questions? We'd like to kind of bring things to close. So again, we want to thank you. We know that you guys are very, very busy, and we appreciate you checking out Aplos. If you are subscribing with us, thank you for partnering with us. We consider you part of our family. If you're checking us out and you're interested, please take advantage of our 15-day free trial, or give us a call and let us know other questions you have, and let us help you with your decision and choosing an accounting and donor management software. We're pleased to be talking to you. Dee, all you need to do is just I see your name right here, so just let me know if you want a recorded. We will send you a link within a day or two, Dee. So in fact, we'll probably just go ahead and send all of you a link if that's okay. Okay. So with that, again, thank you. And thank you for your time. We're going to wrap up for today, and hope we'll talk to you on the phones at some point. So thank you, everybody.